Okay, hello everyone. This is George Webb in on the border between Michigan and Ohio. I'm at one of the swing states cafes, I call them. There's the roving reporter Addy Ads. We're putting on some miles lately, aren't we, Addy?
Yeah, we are, George. We left this morning one state, and we're crossing into another, and we're in small town America here because George wanted to make a town USA stop. Got the U.S. flags on the light poles, and we're at the Common Cravings Cafe, I believe it's called right now.
Yeah, it is beautiful. They've really done it's all very festive. And Addy, I wanted to interview you about an email you got where the person said, you're going to Michigan, you're going to Ohio. Those are, horrible states to go to. Those people there, they're all, farmers and whatnot. They don't know anything. And I'm from Ohio. I mean, I went to school at Miami of Ohio, so I love Ohio. I love Michigan too. We're going to be going to the Swing States newsroom in a minute. So, but you got a letter from a person that just kind of dogged both, small town America because they weren't on the lake, I guess. But why don't you tell them a little bit about how this Swing States newsroom is become a national target? Neighborhood News Hour sort of become this national target of disinformation now. Why don't you tell that story?
Yeah, so I got an email yesterday, I think it was, and it was from this. I guess I won't say the name in case it's a real person, but they basically figured out what my plans were and what George's plans are with the charrette, and sent this email saying, "Oh, it's gonna suck. It's not gonna be fun.
Horrible.
George."
It's a horrible people, horrible environment, horrible state, horrible weather.
Yeah.
The trees have already changed. The leaves. Eddie, why don't we do this? Why don't we go outside and actually check out a small town Ohio right now, and you can judge for yourself if you think small town Ohio is. Even though there's been some economic hardship here, and there has been a lot of. We talked to the owner over there. We're talking with her earlier. She hasn't been able to have any events. They do very well here when they have events, and a whole bunch of people come after or before an event for coffee. So it's she's holding on basically with their business, and it's just a beautiful business. Let's take a walk.
Yeah, let's do it.
She's got it all decorated here. It looks great, with all the you can tell it's fall here, and then see the beautiful thing there. Wave, everybody. Yeah. And then, just real nice, just really beautiful kind of decorations and so forth. I'm very at home again. I feel like I'm in Ohio. And you're in Wisconsin. Is that a swing state?
Yeah, Wisconsin, another battleground state, my home state. Yeah, so we're in the thick of it here in the Midwest.
All right, you open that door for me and we'll see.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we were joking earlier, nobody comes to the Midwest for the weather.
Well, Big Ten football starting this weekend. I don't know. So there's some economic hit that this place took. I'll be, this is a town of 4,000 people. But Joe Biden just came here 2 days ago wanting their votes all of a sudden. For the first time, all of a sudden, Northwest Ohio is very important. Trump's been here, I think, 3 times. So, just curio shops and so forth. We're getting ready for Christmas, I guess. Thank you, Sue, for joining us. And then we'll go here and here. So, Eddie, why don't we
look at this one? Look at this sign. We got a no mask sign here, people. No masks allowed in this facility for security.
For security,
it's a firearm.
Hey, okay. Let's do this. Let's. Well, first of all, why don't you stand right there on that?
With the flowers?
No, up. See that little step? Yeah, we'll get you a little higher.
Yeah.
You're gonna put me
George is 6'8" tall, and I'm not.
Yeah. So we're gonna make Addy a swing forward right now. The first thing I noticed about coming into this town, Addy, was the American flags. On both sides of the street. Right?
Yep.
And that's pretty cool. And I was doing a veterans show at Neighborhood News Hour at the Swing States newsroom. Look at this little Main Street station here. They got a little mural, so forth. Anyway, that's the tactical firearm place, by the way. So the Second Amendment's alive and well. Yeah. So anyway, I gotta be political at all. Just hey, we're Americans, we're veterans, we're proud of our town. We're gonna make it out of this COVID. We've been economically hammered, but we're gonna make it all as Americans. And so we're gonna try to see if we can't get some people to donate some money for the American flags. He's just gonna do the little ones, but it looks great. They put the flags up and down the main street here. All the brickwork.
Yeah, it's a really calm environment. No masks either in the coffee shop either, so no mask rule. And that's something I noticed in Wisconsin too.
Yeah.
Rural Wisconsin, they're not big on the masks at all. And I was disappointed when I walked into a gas station and they had this sign up. But the lady said that she doesn't enforce it and that they sent it from like company headquarters to put those mask signs up. So a lot of times these people who have these mask policies, it's coming from the higher ups, and they don't even necessarily want to implement it. So, but yeah. I know it's a pretty contentious issue. I know masks are in America,
and I don't get into the mask thing too much. I mean, there's other people like Farmer Jones and so forth, and they get into the studies and all that sort of thing.
Shrimp Zoo as well.
Shrimp Zoo is excellent on that. So, like, you have to choose your lane at some point. I mean, we were talking about that last night. It was Epstein, and I said, oh yeah, guns and drugs. And somebody else said trafficking.
Yeah.
Who were you saying?
Yeah, I was saying that Mr. Epstein was a guy that I came to know about principally via his trafficking of children. And I didn't know that he was doing weapons too, that Jeff Epstein was also doing weapons. So Mr. Epstein was quite the dark arts linchpin, would you say?
Yeah, and they usually start in drugs and weapons, and I think as they get further on, they start getting girlfriends or Oconus lures. We met an Oconus lure last night, a Russian girl, right across from the Wrigley building.
Yeah, waitress. She was Russian. And Oconus outside continental United States, and Oconus lure is usually George calls it a 14-year-old Ukrainian girl with high cheekbones.
Right. And she had high cheekbones. And she was certainly very beautiful. But it's a little cold today. It's not really cold. It's just overcast. A little bit chilly, but not too much. Not too much. And gun your engine if you're a drug dealer for rum. This far away from Chicago, you'd be surprised that ROM still has guys that'll gun their engines. But apparently they do.
Yeah, it's sweatshirt weather here.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
But I love this weather, and a lot of trees that we passed. The fall color is amazing. Down this way, you can see a little bit of the fall color that way, and so forth. Yeah, down that way. But it's when the sun's shining, it's the colors come out a lot brighter. But
yeah, we're kind of in full fall swing here.
Yeah, and so Big Ten football season starting up. It's just a great time to be here. And thank you, Kathy.
Oh, well, thank you, Kathy Sue.
Yeah.
We just spoke with Kathy.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And I just think for those people who say, Ohio sucks and Ohio's got bad weather and Ohio, they're Chinese know how to make Jeeps better than they do in Toledo. There's a Jeep plant a couple of miles away from the Swing State newsroom. And they can't make Jeeps fast enough. They cannot make Jeeps fast enough. I'll take it by the factory. So what? That's the most popular car in the world. They want it all over the world. Ohio forgot how to make things, really? China's better than Ohio in terms of manufacturing. I think there's a couple of GE aircraft engine plants down there in Cincinnati where I used to live when I went to Miami. I think there's a lot left here. And I don't, when I get emails like the one you got saying how shitty it is for
trying to dissuade me from meeting up with George. I think that was the
and had all your information and so forth. So
that was weird. They knew where we were meeting, and it was, I don't know, they knew our address. That was a little creepy.
So the first thing I did is I said, hey Addy, if you have any questions, Addy saw the email, and I said, let's pull off the road. Let's go to any small town in Ohio. This is where I grew up. I won a chess tournament 10 miles from here.
Oh, you did?
In Findlay, Ohio. I was the unrated when I was 12. Yeah.
Wow.
So I remember this area well. And I said, we'll pick any town. Pick any town. I'm going to tell you, small town America is live and well. There's great people in America. Don't listen to this whatever guy who's trying to dissuade you from coming here.
So who did you play in the championship of that chess tournament? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
48 years.
unrated, for people that don't know, unrated chess is kind of like doing open weight in martial arts competitions. So you'll have open weights in, for example, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where I just use that martial art because oftentimes, well, not often, but the biggest guy doesn't always win for BJJ. And so they would have this open weight, and sometimes, a 160-pounder would be the big guys. But George playing in a chess tournament that's unrated basically means that he's playing grandmasters potentially or beginners. So that's basically what that means.
Well, thank God I was in Findlay, Ohio,
Yeah.
not New York City. But I will say that does make a difference. But as far as where you can find honesty, integrity, authenticity, great people that are trying to weather the storm, this COVID storm, I don't think you have to look a lot farther than Montpelier, Ohio, or any of these little towns. And this is the people that are going to determine the election. The reason why we're here is not because we're we want to get a suntan. The reason why we're here is to tell the story of the election. And these are the two swing states. I saw an article in the Wall Street Journal today, which said Trump, in order to win, has to basically redo what he did in 2016. That's the strategy. Win the same states you won before and don't lose any new ones, and you win. And if you look at it, that's why he's been here so many times.
Wisconsin too. Yeah.
Wisconsin as well, and he's going to Michigan. He's went to Iowa, as a swing state.
It's kind of interesting how it's like middle Americans are deciding the country, really. Not the coast, not the coasties, the metrosexual coast, as Peter Duke calls them.
Yeah. They're not gonna. They might swing a different way, but they're not the swing states.
And he can say that because Peter Duke's a creative director. So
that's right. And you have a pink can, so that's
courtesy of Deborah.
You have to be a good jiu-jitsu fighter if you drink pink. That to me says there's macho here coming, and you're going to be available if there's a lot of young ladies coming from all different walks of life. They're coming in. There we go. There's a supporter. If they're coming in, and they're, let's say, Oconus lures or even Conus lures, you'll be able to spend a few minutes with them. You won't be working on all the projects at the Swing State newsroom.
Oh yeah, I'll be able to spot them out. I'll be like, okay, you're a lure, you're a lure, you're a lure. George sent you, So I'm pretty good at detecting. My BS meter is pretty good.
Okay. I meant if there was any Oconus lures, you would be able to spend a few minutes with them and entertain them for coffee if they came to the Swing States newsroom. This is an open event on Saturday. So we're going to have a whole bunch of the LaRouche Pack folks come down. We're going to have
people want to meet up with us.
Yeah, the meetup is on Saturday. It's going to be in Temperance, Michigan. So if you want more information, just leave a comment here. We'll get a hold of you on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, or DM me if you guys want to on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Instagram is the best. Facebook's a little harder because their messaging is a little convoluted. And George has the Facebook too.
The Magic Bus looked rubbish. Is that Housatonic saying that? Yeah, I must be. The Magic Bus. Well, the Magic Bus is not in the shot. So
that might have been the guy who sent the email.
That's probably the guy who sent the email. Yeah. Well, I can understand you'd want to discourage and make sure people stay at home, don't vote. Let people who've run Washington for 47 years run it for another 4 years. I guess that's the logic, right? I don't necessarily agree with that, but we're not a political channel, so we're here to just tell the story of Middletown, America. Yeah, they are talking about the Magic Bus. You remember the song?
Yeah, I actually did watch that TV show. We were talking about Gilligan's Island too.
Yeah.
Because George is Gilligan, I guess. I don't know what that makes me, because I was telling George I don't know that show.
No, I think I'd probably be the skipper in this. You'd be Gilligan. Okay. I don't know.
I don't know the characters, so
so you don't know the characters.
I don't know them at all.
This is what's great about millennials. You can say, hey, I got a great idea for a TV show where a whole bunch of people are stranded on an island. and they go, okay, tell me more. And I said, well, there's the skipper, and they had this crew, and then they get shipwrecked, and there's these millionaires and these movie stars, and then your eyes lit up.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
George is like, oh, actually, they already did that.
Yeah, they already did.
Gilligan's Island, but Magic School Bus. That's what you're talking about, right?
No.
Okay, I was talking about. I watched that show when I was a child.
It's got some kind of Magic Bus. You know, I don't know who sang that song. Maybe it's Led Zeppelin. Someone, I don't know who sang the song Magic Bus.
Someone help us out here.
But electric Kool-Aid acid test with Tom Wolfe comes to mind. They had a bus. They called it something. I can't remember what Tom Wolfe called it. But then there was another. Ken Kesey bought the bus. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Ken Kesey bought the bus.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were talking about because you mentioned the acid bus or whatever. You're talking about Hunter S. Thompson before.
Hunter S. Thompson, yeah. So we're kind of on one of those tours. We're not on an acid trip, but I mean we're
on a caffeine trip.
Yeah, we're on a caffeine trip. We're just just collecting the stories of small town America. Sometimes we go live, sometimes we don't. Most of the times we don't. Again, Kathy, I want to say thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you to Kathy Sue for the donation.
All this money goes to the Neighborhood News Hour, not me, not Addy. And we'll probably leave it right there. I just want to say hello to everybody. The next stop is we have people from South Carolina already. There's Professor Hamamoto. We got a show tonight. What does he say?
The Who, electric acid Kool-Aid test. Casey, name a bus further.
Further was the name of the bus, I think.
Okay.
Ken Kesey was the author. Ken Kesey was the author.
Thank you to Dr. Hamamoto for the reference there. And people should go check out George's chats with Dr. Hamamoto.
Tonight, 8 o'clock.
And John as well, right?
Yeah,
McDuff?
8 o'clock tonight. Yeah.
Okay, so go on McDuff's channel.
Yeah, Roger Daltrey, Magic Bus. Yeah, that's you don't know that song. Okay, all right.
Negative, sir.
Negative. Okay, here we go. We're having a great time, everybody. We'll be in the Swing State newsroom going across the border. Small town America is great, isn't it?
Yeah, I really loved it because, I don't know, I mean, I grew up in a pretty small town in Wisconsin, and that's why when I went to visit my grandparents for the first time during the pandemic, I stopped for gas at this gas station that I've been to many times just by virtue of it being close to my grandparents' house. And when I saw the mask sign, I was devastated. I was like, no, they got to the rural Americans too. And I walk in, she's like, oh, you don't have to wear that. And I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
You know, I was so disappointed that they, almost like, because, masks are a debate. They're a debate in and of themselves, right? So, we could have a whole chat about it. But my point was just looking at it from like the psyop of social engineering aspect, or that lens. I was disappointed.
Wow. So we just got another super chat. I think that's Connie Bevan. Thank you very much. That's going to make the newsroom.
Thank you, Connie
Wow,
Bevan. And I appreciate
Is that $100?
That's $50.
Oh, okay. $50. Yeah. So that's awesome. Thank you, Connie. That's a huge, nice addition to the day. We have South Carolina's in. We've got Northern Michigan coming down already. Bowling Green, Ohio. That's our next stop, Doctor. That's your alma mater.
Oh, wow.
That's my dad's alma mater as well. And we were going to have a magic bus stop for Dr. Hamamoto. Aaron Adler of the Neighborhood News Hour was saying, hey, we've got to take the magic bus. It's called Further, I think it's called. We got to take that down to Dr. Hamamoto's old places where he used to hang out, in Bowling Green.
People should check out his books too, because he does a lot of writing on Japanese American history,
Asian American history,
and that's something I plan on getting into as well. Dr. Hamamoto's books are definitely on my to read list.
Did you read Servitors yet? Servitors of Empire?
Servitors of Empire. I have.
You
not.
bought it. You bought it though.
Yeah, I think I bought it,
Yeah.
but I left Wisconsin. And I bought another book by this girl. Her name is Piazza Sif, who I interviewed on my channel as well. And she writes about like intimacy and sex. She's like a sexologist, right? And I ordered the book, and I foolishly did it so I would pick it up at an Amazon hub. And if you don't show up in time, they send the books back. So I left for Shrimpsu. Got the semis in action here. Things picking up big time here in Montpelier. But I left for New York, and the books got sent back. They arrived after I left for New York, so I got to reorder them.
Wow. I thought you were going to say, I've got Servitors of Empire. I learned they took 100 guys to overthrow China with the intelligence officers. I learned that in the book. I thought you were going to say Flying Tigers, the whole opium trade, all the compromise operations. What did they say?
It was Deep Blackberry, George.
Who was Deep Blackberry? Well, I think it's sometimes when you remember something and you say, God, that's him. the first time I saw the Trump impeachment hearings and I saw William Taylor, I said, that's him. But, I didn't know who I was meeting with at the time. So if the person would have said, my name is Johnny Jones, and not a pseudonym, he refused to be identified. If he would have said that, I would have been able to go look at his profile and look at his Facebook and be able to verify. But 3 years later, I see the guy and I said, that's him. Or it's maybe a little younger brother with a little darker hair. And maybe the glasses were a little tiny bit thinner, but those same silver glasses and so forth. So, that he wears sometimes for reading. He had that same habit of putting the glasses on for reading. A lot of people do, but they're those same silver glasses. So I don't know.
Drill George some more, guys.
I don't know. I don't know if it's him or not, and I don't want to pin
one per broadcast.
I don't want to pin everything on that. It's not important because he had information. He had inside information that no one else had. He knew how Imran got into the United States. I reported that before the Washington Post. I reported that before Luke Rosiak from the Daily Caller, before Politico, before all these other people that supposedly had the inside on what's happening in Washington. And Imran Awan came in through Inter-America. And you remember, if I hadn't had that information, Imran Awan doesn't get indicted. The whole story goes away. But once they knew they had a crack, somebody talking, somebody whistleblower, you have to do a limited hangout. You have to do a limited hangout. It's a leak. You've got to go in with your plumber, liquid plumb, or your plumbing wrap and wrap it and leak it, and then leak out a little bit of information to throw people off the track. And that's what they did. I'm not saying Luke was a limited hangout, but you can breadcrumb information to Luke to take him off the track. You can start here close to the story and then just progressively lead him off to the track. And they led him to the House of Representatives with all these whistleblowers who, where are they? Where are Luke's whistleblowers? Now that we're having the most pivotal election right now, he had 4. Remember Sean Moran at Breitbart? He's a journalist. Where's Sean Moran, who worked with Imran Awan, who thought Imran was in PAC ISI? Where is he now? Right now, during our most important election, while you're voting, a lot of people want 2 things. One is they want indictments.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the car, actually.
And the other thing they want is transparency, just so they know how to vote. They want to know who's a crook and who isn't, right? I'm in the second camp. I think you're in the first camp. Peter Duke's in the first camp. You said, I want to see somebody go to the gallows and hang for treason or something.
Well, Eric Weinstein was saying, he said it's time for heads on spikes and or pikes, whatever, same thing. And yeah, I just think it's important to have academics with that type of courage, powerful academics, because he is a really powerful academic. And guys like George, too, who just have the courage and the balls to say what they actually think, right, about what is going on and the ludicrousness of our politicians, really. And, people have referenced the French Revolution many times during this pandemic, and Robespierre and the Reign of Terror there in France, where they basically just killed all politicians. And I'm not condoning that. Or
we're advocating against that. We're advocating against an enlightenment, not violence. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, George. It's all part of this awakening, right? This enlightenment, as we called it earlier, I think. So, demanding, I think, justice for politicians or against them, I think is definitely, I think it's righteous anger right now.
Yeah, and I don't want, like Gretchen Whitmer, we're going to do the story on the 12. If anybody knows any of the 12, the Dirty Dozen, the Whitmer that got set up by the FBI, supposedly in this kidnapping plot, whatever it was, chatting, joking, whatever it was, there's 12 people that may be put in prison for their joking. And who knows how many of those were FBI informants. I thought it was 3 or 4 when I first looked at the profiles. But after I started digging in the profiles, I think it may be 10 or 11. And only one guy is not an informant. The one guy that CNN did the thing on where they went into his basement and said he got kicked out of the Michigan militia.
The scapegoat, right?
Yeah, he might be the only, the Lee Harvey Oswald, the patsy, he might be the only one out of the 11. And by the way, this is something else I can speak to directly. I was entrapped by an FBI informant who also had before tried to teach people how to make bombs to blow up FBI headquarters, this is how the FBI works. It's make crime. There's never a crime that they didn't make.
Robert David Steele calls it a theatrical agency. He calls the Department of Justice a theatrical department, you know. So
Yeah.
it's part of their MO, really.
But they wanted to have 12 white guys, white guy bad. Thank God we have so much color. Thank God we have so much Indian blood. You have a lot more Indian blood than I do.
Yeah, we got the native blood going on. Over
Yeah,
here.
I got a little, but
George.
I think you're about 50%. Well, you're about 50%.
Yeah,
native.
I'm half.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
Central American native is probably the most accurate way to put it.
So we were going to have a rally for people. And I think it may be okay to say it's okay to be partially white.
Yeah, yeah.
So
my mother is. I mean, Hitler would have loved my mom. She's got the cheekbones and the curly red hair and the green eyes, but he would not have liked my father. So yeah, it's okay. It's definitely okay to be part white.
So as a partially white person in America, I feel good. I feel like I'm a contributor. Obama would be in our group. Kamala Harris is partially white. I mean, we have a lot of folks.
Yeah, lots of mutts around.
So we're probably going to talk less and less about melanin and how much, I know a little bit something about genetics. Melanin, the genes that encode melanin, it's just a matter of how many repeats that you have or how much melanin you have. The difference in all the races is incredibly small in terms of actual genes. It's just the production of melanin. That's it. That's all we're doing. So we're going to shut down our whole economy. We're going to smash all these windows. We're going to destroy all these businesses. We're going to have this huge transfer of wealth with $1 trillion transfers of wealth. All because some people have a little bit more melanin than others. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like jobs, it seems like making Jeeps is where we should be thinking about. And they're doing it right here in Northwest Ohio. They're kicking ass making Jeeps. Come into the United States to do hacking and monkey in our elections. That seems weird. So anyway, before this truck comes, we're going to go. Thanks, Truckers of America. We love you. We love you.
Stay frosty,
Let's give a
guys.
big wave. Same guy. Coming back around it again for another one.
Can't wait for the Rocky Mountain shred.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain Shred's coming. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.